Have you ever felt paralyzed by self-doubt, unable to take the first step toward your dreams? Whether it's starting a new project, pursuing a passion, or taking a risk, that nagging voice of doubt can hold us back from realizing our true potential. It's a common struggle that many of us face at some point or another. Self-doubt often acts as an invisible barrier that keeps us stuck in a cycle of indecision and fear, preventing us from taking the necessary actions to achieve our goals. But what if there was a way to break free from this cycle? Stoic philosophy offers powerful tools to confront and overcome these doubts, empowering us to live more confidently and authentically. At its core, Stoicism teaches us that we cannot control everything around us, but we can control how we respond to our thoughts, emotions, and circumstances. Many of the Stoic principles are designed to help us live without the constant weight of fear or uncertainty, encouraging us to act boldly, in line with our true values, and without the crippling effects of doubt. In this video, we'll explore key Stoic principles that can help you stop doubting yourself and take decisive action toward your dreams. From accepting what is within our control to shifting our perspective on failure, these teachings will provide a roadmap for navigating self-doubt and moving forward with confidence. Let's dive in. Understanding self-doubt through the Stoic lens. At the heart of Stoic philosophy is the idea that we cannot control external events, but we can control how we respond to them. Self-doubt often arises when we focus on things outside our control, other people's opinions, the fear of failure, or the uncertainty of outcomes. This focus on external factors creates a barrier in our minds, preventing us from taking action. Stoicism teaches us that these external elements do not have power over us unless we allow them to. Self-doubt often stems from the fear of judgment or failure, two things we cannot control. When we give too much weight to others' opinions or the potential results of our actions, we paralyze ourselves with fear. The Stoics remind us that while we cannot dictate the outcomes, we do have full control over how we react to them. By shifting our focus inward, we reclaim our power and become free from the constant anxiety of what others might think or whether we'll succeed. For example, imagine a person who is hesitant to start a new business venture. They may worry about what others will think if it fails, or they might be consumed by the fear of the potential challenges ahead. In this case, the person is allowing their self-doubt to be rooted in factors outside their control, public perception and uncertainty about the future. But by embracing the Stoic perspective, they can focus on the action they can take today and trust that whatever comes is part of their growth. As Epictetus wisely said, "It's not what happens to you, but how you react to it that matters." By controlling our responses, we take the power back from self-doubt and move forward with confidence. Stop fearing the unknown. Embrace the present moment. One of the core principles of Stoicism is living in harmony with the present moment, free from the distractions of what might happen in the future. The Stoics understood that worrying about the unknown only robs us of the power to act today. When it comes to self-doubt, this often manifests as a fear of what could happen in the future, whether we will succeed, fail, or face rejection. This kind of thinking keeps us paralyzed, stuck in a state of fear rather than moving forward. The Stoic approach teaches us that we are in control of only what happens in the present, our thoughts, our actions, and our responses. The future is beyond our control, and by dwelling on it, we waste precious time and energy. Instead, Stoicism encourages us to focus on the actions we can take today. This helps us move forward in a way that is both grounded and rational, not ruled by fear or uncertainty. Consider a person who has the opportunity to start a new job in a different city. They may feel overwhelmed by the unknowns, the new environment, making new friends, or adjusting to different expectations. Instead of focusing on these potential challenges, the Stoic perspective would encourage them to focus on what can be done today, researching the job, preparing mentally for the move, and gathering the necessary information. By acting on what is within their control today, the fear of the unknown becomes less daunting. Marcus Aurelius, in his Meditations, said, "You have power over your mind, not outside events. Realize this, and you will find strength." This highlights the Stoic teaching that we can control how we respond to the present, not how the future unfolds. By focusing on the present moment and the actions we can take today, we free ourselves from the crippling fear of what might come tomorrow. Taking small steps now leads to big strides in the future. Focus on what you can control. Let go of external validation. A key Stoic principle is that we should focus only on what is within our control, our thoughts, actions, and decisions, and let go of the things we cannot control, such as other people's opinions or external outcomes. This principle is crucial when it comes to overcoming self-doubt. Often, self-doubt arises from relying too much on external validation. We seek approval from others, worry about what society expects of us, or fear judgment for our decisions. When we base our self-worth on these external factors, we give up our power and let others' opinions dictate our actions. The Stoics teach us to focus on what we can control and to accept what we cannot. The truth is, we cannot control how others perceive us, how they judge our choices, or whether we will be successful by their standards. But we can control how we show up in the world, our effort, our mindset, and our persistence. When we align ourselves with this understanding, we stop measuring our worth based on external validation and start measuring it by our own standards. Consider someone who feels discouraged by the opinions of others when pursuing a creative passion. Perhaps a writer whose work is not being praised or acknowledged. If they focus on seeking approval from others, they may become paralyzed by self-doubt, questioning their abilities or the value of their work. But if they shift their focus to what they can control, their dedication to writing, their process, and their personal growth, they can continue to create, regardless of others' opinions. By doing so, they break free from the trap of external validation and remain true to their own purpose. Epictetus famously said, "We cannot choose our external circumstances, but we can always choose how we respond to them." This reminds us that while we cannot control how others respond to our actions, we can choose how we respond to the circumstances we find ourselves in. By focusing on our own efforts and accepting that others' opinions are beyond our control, we build a solid foundation for self-confidence and persistence. When we release the need for approval, we free ourselves to act with authenticity and resilience. Build courage by taking small steps. One of the most empowering Stoic principles is the idea that courage is not the absence of fear, but the ability to act in spite of it. Fear is a natural human emotion, and it's something we all experience when stepping out of our comfort zones. The Stoics understood that courage isn't about completely eliminating fear, but about making a conscious decision to take action even when fear is present. The key to building courage is to start small. Rather than waiting for a moment when you feel completely fearless or confident, you begin by taking manageable, bite-sized steps toward your goal. Each small step is a victory in itself and helps you gradually build the confidence to tackle bigger challenges. It's the accumulation of these small actions that leads to lasting courage and ultimately self-assurance. For example, let's consider someone who has a long-held dream of running a marathon. The idea of completing 26 miles might seem overwhelming, and it's easy to feel paralyzed by self-doubt. However, by breaking down the goal into smaller, more manageable steps, such as starting with short runs, gradually increasing distance and focusing on improving stamina, they can build both physical and mental resilience. Each time they push through discomfort and run another mile, their self-doubt diminishes. Eventually, they reach the point where they are ready to run the full marathon, having developed the courage to take that final step through consistent practice. Seneca wisely said, "Courage is not the absence of fear, but the ability to act in spite of it." This quote highlights that courage is about action, not the absence of fear. Every time we take a step, no matter how small, we're building courage and reinforcing our ability to move forward despite uncertainty. The Stoic approach teaches that we don't need to wait for fear to disappear before we act. Instead, we take action in the face of fear and grow stronger with each step. So, whether your goal is to start a new project, pursue a creative passion, or change careers, remember that courage grows through consistent small actions. Each step you take, no matter how small, is a step away from self-doubt and towards self-assurance. Accept failures as part of growth. Stoicism teaches us that failure is not something to fear or avoid, but rather something to embrace as an essential part of the journey toward growth and success. According to the Stoics, setbacks and mistakes are opportunities to learn, refine our strategies, and strengthen our character. Instead of viewing failure as a reflection of our incompetence, we can view it as a stepping stone toward improvement. Every time we fail, we are presented with valuable lessons that can guide us in our future endeavors. Rather than allowing failure to discourage us, we can ask ourselves, what can I learn from this experience? How can I improve and do better next time? This mindset is central to Stoic philosophy, which encourages us to focus on our responses to external events rather than the events themselves. The Stoics believed that we cannot control everything that happens to us, but we can control how we react to it. Take, for example, Thomas Edison. He failed thousands of times before successfully inventing the light bulb. When asked about his many failures, he famously said, "I have not failed. I've just found 10,000 ways that won't work." Edison's persistence and ability to see failure as part of the process led to his ultimate success. Similarly, J.K. Rowling was rejected by numerous publishers before her Harry Potter series became a global phenomenon. Her early failures didn't define her. Instead, they taught her resilience and determination. Marcus Aurelius reminds us that the obstacle on the path becomes the path. In other words, the very challenges we face on our journey are what shape our growth and lead us to success. Failure is not an endpoint, but an integral part of the process. So, when faced with setbacks, remember, each failure is a lesson, and each lesson brings you closer to achieving your goals. Cultivate a Stoic mindset. View self-doubt as an opportunity. In Stoicism, every challenge, whether it's external obstacles or internal struggles like self-doubt, is viewed as an opportunity to practice and develop virtue. Instead of seeing self-doubt as a weakness, the Stoics teach us to embrace it as a tool for self-reflection and growth. The Stoic virtues of self-discipline, courage, and wisdom can be strengthened through the very moments when we feel unsure of ourselves. Self-doubt often arises when we question our abilities, fear failure, or worry about judgment from others. Rather than allowing these feelings to paralyze us, Stoicism encourages us to view them as cues to reflect on our beliefs and challenge negative thought patterns. Every time you feel self-doubt creeping in, ask yourself, what is this feeling teaching me? Is it a signal that I need to practice more self-discipline, or that I'm avoiding an uncomfortable but necessary action? For instance, imagine someone who wants to launch their own business but feels overwhelmed by the fear of failure. Their self-doubt could easily stop them from moving forward. However, through a Stoic lens, this self-doubt becomes an opportunity to practice courage. By reframing the fear as an opportunity for growth, they can challenge themselves to take action, break down the task into manageable steps, and remind themselves that failure is not the end, but part of the process. Seneca offers a profound insight into how difficulties contribute to our growth. Difficulties strengthen the mind as labor does the body. Just as physical exertion builds strength, mental and emotional challenges, like overcoming self-doubt, help develop resilience and wisdom. When you face self-doubt, rather than seeing it as a roadblock, recognize it as a chance to practice Stoic virtues. Each moment of doubt is an invitation to cultivate your inner strength, push through your fears, and emerge stronger. By adopting this Stoic mindset, you can transform self-doubt from an obstacle into an essential part of your journey toward personal growth and success. In this video, we've explored how Stoicism offers powerful tools for overcoming self-doubt and taking decisive action. We discussed how focusing on what is within our control, such as our thoughts and actions, helps us break free from the paralyzing effects of fear. We learned that courage isn't the absence of fear, but the ability to act in spite of it, and that we can build confidence through small, manageable steps. Finally, we embraced the Stoic view that failure is not something to avoid, but an opportunity for growth and learning. Now it's time to empower yourself. Reflect on your current doubts, whether they're about pursuing a new project, taking a career leap, or any other goal, and think about how you can apply these Stoic principles. Instead of letting fear and uncertainty hold you back, use them as signals to take action. Focus on what you can control, take small steps toward your goals, and embrace any setbacks as opportunities for growth. Remember, Stoicism is not just a philosophy to think about, but a way to live. As Epictetus wisely said, "Don't explain your philosophy, embody it." The key to overcoming self-doubt lies in not just understanding these principles, but in consistently putting them into practice in your life. If you found this video helpful, don't forget to subscribe for more insights on Stoicism and personal development. Let's continue on this journey of growth and empowerment together.